said, get up right now.
Police ordering OnlyFans model Courtney Clenney off the ground after she stabbed her boyfriend, Christian Obumseli. She claims self-defense. Does this new footage help her or hurt her? And what about her parents?
There are warrants for you and your wife's arrest.
What?
I know.
New videos also showing the moments her parents are arrested as they are accused of trying to help their daughter hide evidence. Thanks for joining me for Crime Fix. I'm Angenette Levy. Courtney Clenney has been in jail in Miami for well over a year, awaiting trial for the death of her boyfriend, Christian Obumseli, in April of 2022. Body camera footage, just released to Clenney's attorneys by prosecutors, show Courtney Clenney covered in blood as police arrived. Take a look.
No, I can't let this, okay?
Let go.
Wait, it wasn't. Guys,
Relax.
Why? No, guys.
Relax.
Boss, what's going on? Hey, you good? What do you have?
Relax.
What are you getting from? Yo.
Guys, please.
Relax.
I'm
Sit down.
Here. Okay.
Sit down.
Just let me.
Sit down.
Okay. Baby, come here. Just sit down.
Now, we have to blur some of that blood. It's just too gruesome, but we can tell you the scene is a mess. Clenney is placed in the hallway. She talks with officers who have placed her in handcuffs as she sits on the floor.
What?
Homicide's the one responding for DV.
Wait, is he dead? Is he dead?
Sit down.
Okay, no, I'll sit down. I just, you scared me.
Sit down.
He's not dead, is he?
We don't.
No, they're taking him to the hospital right now.
He's in the hospital right now.
I need to be at the hospital with him.
Oh, you're not going anywhere.
Why?
Because we're conducting an investigation.
It was I was self-defense. My mom was on the phone.
You're okay. Well, listen, the detectives are coming. You're gonna talk to them, and then you're gonna explain your side.
But I'm gonna be covered in blood. I look crazy. I was holding him while he was spurting blood, trying to stop the blood.
Okay, so you guys started arguing, then what happened?
Threw me against the wall, choked me. You're looking like this. He's never choked me to where it's
Okay,
crazy stuff. But I couldn't breathe.
Okay.
Then he put me on the.
So he
on
throws you against the wall?
Then he put me on the ground, choked me. That's happened 2 other times.
Did he tell you anything? Did he say
just
anything?
like that kind of face, where I was really scared and I was trying to get him off of me and he wouldn't get off. Then he gets off. Then I called my mom.
Okay.
And then I went into the other room and I was talking to her and I was crying and saying like something has happened, I don't know what's going on with Christian. And I was just crying, whatever. And then I went to the kitchen and he started charging at me. And I said I'm gonna throw this at you, and he goes, do it. And then he charged me and but he was far away and I never in a million years I'm
he threw
scared.
a statue at you?
No. It was the knife. I said, I was just holding it to be please don't come anywhere near me.
Clenney, as you've seen, is wearing baggy, silky pants and a bikini top, but police ask her if she has something they can place over her.
My boyfriend's blood is all over me.
I know, but you can't. Unfortunately, you can't go in there. You can't go in the apartment.
4220 stars.
Okay.
43. 694.
Okay. Here, I have on.
We have
45378 Martinez.
On my couch.
So on the inside.
On the inside, not a full couch, but on the couch kind of chair.
4 flates.
Just a loose, comfortable shirt. I think
what's his
there's
name?
t-shirts or whatever in there.
IBM flates.
And then there's a pair of gray NBA sweatpants that are his that I would like to wear.
As Clenney sits in the hallway of her condo complex, she asks to see Christian Obumseli.
I need to go to the hospital. I have to.
You gotta give us a statement first.
That's fine. But can I go to the hospital at some
After
point?
we done, yes.
We're going down.
Can I say bye? Can I say bye to my dad? I'll be right back, boys. I'll be right back, okay? You can get. I'll be right back. Ranger, be right.
Clenney is also very concerned about her dog and what will happen to him.
Baby, don't cry.
Prado, this is my number. You can call me here. Call the friend.
No one. He already saw it. They're already checked this, okay?
Police take Courtney Clenney to the police station to interview her. Later on, in the interrogation room, Courtney Clenney appears shocked when she is told that Christian Obumseli is dead.
I have to inform you that Christian did not make it. Unfortunately, the doctors did what they could. And
Christian is dead.
yes.
Oh my God.
Courtney Clenney was charged months later with second-degree murder. Now her parents also face charges.
I have to cancel the Ashley. I'm supposed to be here in 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Deborah.
So-
Nobody's
No, I'm
gonna hurt
not okay.
I know.
Nobody's going to hurt you. I understand. I mean,
I
you're
know.
physically okay.
whole
You'll get
deal
through
is
this.
bullshit.
We
have-
certainly
we have
understand.
nothing
Kim and Deborah Clenney are accused of trying to log into Christian Obumseli's computer after he died to help their daughter. Courtney faces the same charges. The Clenney's attorneys have called the allegations frivolous. So, what could this new body camera footage of Courtney Clenney mean for her case? Joining me to discuss this are two people who've been following the case. Josh Ritter is a defense attorney and former prosecutor, and Joel Waldman is the host of the Surviving the Survivor podcast. Thanks to both of you for coming on. Josh, I'll start with you. From the former prosecutor's perspective, does this make Courtney Clenney look more guilty of second-degree murder? She's standing there covered in blood. She's saying she was trying to save him. She continues to ask about him, but she's admitting that she killed him.
Yeah, I think it cuts both ways, as you pointed out. You're right. She's covered as far as proving did she kill him. It's a win for the prosecution. She's covered in blood. She's talking about her involvement. But if you're the defense, you're not exactly completely afraid of this video, because I think it does show her in a state of shock. I think it does show her still concerned about him. I certainly don't think it shows a bunch of animosity on her part and premeditated types of feelings about she wanted him dead. So I think it's certainly going to play into the prosecution. They're going to use it at trial to prove that she was involved in the murder. But I think if you're the defense, there's a way to spin this to their favor.
Yeah, I saw that as well, because she comes out and says, it was self-defense. My mom was on the phone, and the state's going to say, no, you weren't on the phone with your mom. You called your mom after you killed him, and you waited. You got your story straight, things like that. But, she is voicing concern for him. She's asking if he's dead. She's saying she tried to stop the bleeding. So I think there are things that the defense could point to say, look, she was worried. Joel, you're a news person just like me. We're skeptical people. What are your thoughts and your reaction to seeing this body camera footage and Courtney Clenney's behavior in it?
Well, I would have been smarter to be a criminal defense attorney like Josh Ritter. I'd be making a lot more money, but I'll do that
Same.
I'll do that in my next lifetime. But you guys were also just talking about the parents. So what's interesting about the now the body cam footage that has been released of Courtney Clenney, keep in mind, she called her mother before calling 911. The video is tough to look at. I mean, she's literally dripping in blood, and she sounds remorseful, but more so for herself than anyone else. In other words, she sounds worried for how this is going to look and feel and be for the public at large. She knows it's being recorded, I think, at that moment. And she keeps saying, wake up to Christian Obumseli, her boyfriend, who we now know was stabbed and killed by her. And so she's petrified, because it's kind of what moment where she's starting to realize he's probably not with us anymore, and I'm here covered in blood. So Josh thinks it could help the defense. I definitely think it could help the state, but lawyers on both sides are going to be very savvy and try to use it to their benefit.
So you think there might have been a bit of acting in there? Like you think that there were some theatrics, Joel?
Well, I think that she's been in these situations, obviously not as grave as this before, but she's been in domestic violence situations. And I think she realizes at this point that it went too far. I'm not saying that, she doesn't have any element of guilt or a pearl of guilt in there, or remorse for Christian as well. But I think she's worried for herself. And that's why she called her mother first. And I do think that the state is going to use this to their benefit when and if this goes to trial. She's been sitting here in Miami-Dade County for a long time now. And as we know, I know you're going to get to the parents. They've been charged as well with obstruction in this case. So it is a messy case, and she's got a long road ahead of her if she ever wants to see the light of day, at least in the near future.
Josh, she's facing a second-degree murder charge. So they're not saying this was a thought out, premeditated, pre-planned act. Obviously, it's still a second-degree murder. I mean, this man lost his life. Her defense attorneys, I've talked with them in the past. I've interviewed them, and they say, look, there's no doubt this was a toxic relationship. These were people who abused substances. They should not have been together. But this was self-defense. So, self-defense cases, I feel like, especially if the defendant gets on the stand, sometimes they're pretty successful because then it puts the burden on the state to show that the defendant didn't act in self-defense.
Yeah, and it all comes down to a reasonableness standard. The jury's gonna be asked, was it reasonable under the circumstances for her, first of all, to believe that her life was being threatened? And was her response, her use of force, reasonable in its degree? So was it reasonable for her to respond to his threats, whatever they were, by using a knife? And I think that's gonna be a big problem here, is the way that he was killed. We're not talking about we got into a fight, I pushed him, he happened to fall down the stairs, this is all a horrible accident, I never intended for this to happen. Or, I grabbed the nearest thing around me and I swung it at him. This is a stabbing death. I mean, there's a little bit an extra element of criminal intent involved in that when you stab someone to death. Like Joel pointed out, she's covered in blood. This isn't, I swung a knife at him one time and happened to nick him, and we all got unlucky and he ended up dead. This is a stabbing that ended up with a great amount of blood loss. So, yeah, I think the only argument she can make is for self-defense, but it's interesting that the prosecution has gone with second-degree murder here rather than a voluntary manslaughter, which might align more with the idea of a spur-of-the-moment, heat of passion sort of action taken on her part. But they believe there was some degree of deliberation before this murder.
Yeah, and Jeanette, if I can just hop in real quick on this
Sure.
too. You know, the story that the defense has proposed, and that Courtney Clenney obviously told her defense team, is that she flung this knife from 10 feet away while on her
Right.
knees, and that's how it happened. And anyone with any reasonable mind is going to have a really hard time believing that. So I think there are already some holes in her story that are going to be very problematic for her and her attorney. I don't think, and I've had other attorneys on to address this, a guy named Frank Prieto. I don't think he's helping the case because he's making wild accusations in public about Christian Obumseli, among them that he was dealing in human trafficking. This is on top of domestic violence allegations. And unless you have receipts for
Wow.
that, unless you're coming with something to show that he was, and there's no indication that he was involved in this in any way. As a matter of fact, it's the complete opposite. Anyone who has spoken to Christian Obumseli's character says he's completely on the up and up, that he was just trying to make a way for himself as an entrepreneur here in Miami. So to hurl these accusations of human trafficking his way, coupled with the fact that they say that she hurled this knife from 10 feet away and just happened to nick his carotid artery. It was one of the arteries in the neck. And have people believe that. That's a bit of a stretch, I think.
Yeah, and I should note, as far as the knife goes, the stab wound. They're claiming the attorneys claim prosecutor, I should say, that knife wound actually came. It was like it had to have been like a downward thrust. If you look at some of the documents, they claim the ME says from their analysis that you couldn't have just flung a knife and hit like that. And Frank Prieto, I should say, I reached out to him for a comment on this latest body camera footage release, and he has not yet responded. So interesting you brought that up about Christian Obumseli and those allegations. I had not heard those, but he has said that Christian was abusive to Courtney, but everything we've heard was that she was the aggressor in this relationship. And everything we've seen are videos of her attacking him. So it'll be interesting to see what goes on at trial. Let's pivot now to the parents' arrest. The parents and Courtney Clenney are now both facing felony charges of accessing illegally unauthorized use of a computer and trying to access Christian Obumseli's computer by guessing passwords after he was dead in an effort to find evidence that might help Courtney Clenney. So the parents look pretty shocked in this video, Josh. They can't believe they're being arrested. But if you look at some of the information that came out, they're obviously trying to get into that laptop. So, what are your thoughts on that footage showing the father, especially of Courtney Clenney, being shocked that he's being charged?
Yeah, I might catch some heat for this, but I actually feel bad for the parents here. What they did was wrong. Trying to access the computer is wrong. If those allegations are true and they're actually trying to break into his computer and trying to figure out his password, that is the kind of stuff that is taken very seriously by criminal courts, because now you're dealing with somehow obstructing an investigation, maybe attempting to destroy evidence. All of that is horrible, horrible stuff. But you also got these parents who've have their daughter who's in a horrible situation herself. She's looking to go to prison for a very long time. And a part of me feels like these are parents who were, I would do anything to help my children. They stepped over the line, but you can see that kind of realization hitting them in real time as they're being arrested, that, oh my God, not, we weren't just helping out our child, we were actually breaking the law as we were trying to do that. It's funny to me in that video, the police officers also seem to be very kind of conciliatory to the parents. They're almost apologetic at points, explaining to them, listen, we get it, we understand, but we have to take you in. And that's how it should be handled. This isn't a crime of violence that they committed. Shouldn't come in with guns raised and forcing everybody on the ground. But at the same time, it's serious business, and they do need to take them in and arrest them. And I imagine charges will be pursued.
Joel, your thoughts? They are facing that one felony charge. Their attorney says it's all frivolous, that they didn't do anything wrong. So I know we're both parents. Actually, all three of us are parents. We would do whatever we could to help our kids. I'm not sure we would break the law.
Yeah, I 100% agree with what Josh said, and I guess I'll take heat as well because I'm a parent of three, and there's nothing that you wouldn't do for your children, but you'd like to think that you wouldn't break the law. But it also goes back to the old adage, we don't know what we don't know. We don't know exactly at this point what the parents did. Obviously, they're impeding in an investigation, and it also goes back to my earlier point that Courtney is still very close with her mother and clearly called her before ever calling 911. So they had a huge head start, head of law enforcement on this. They knew what was going on to some degree, and they obviously tried to access the computer and manipulate it in one way or another. So, they're going to have to pay the piper for that. And I do agree with Josh as well that charges will be pursued here, but you've got to feel for them just from a human perspective that they are parents in all this. A daughter is in a heap of trouble. They're now caught in the middle. But again, this is a country of laws, and you can't go around breaking laws, breaking into people's computers after the fact. And so I do think that the state will go after them, and they will face some pretty harsh and stiff charges, if not penalties, for doing this.
No doubt. Well, thanks to both of you, Josh Ritter and Joel Waldman. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having
Thank
me.
you.
And that's it for this episode of Crime Fix. I'm Angenette Levy. Thanks so much for being with us. We'll see you back here next time.